No, we're live.
We are live.
Oh, yay. Okay, good. All right. Let's talk about this next piece. So the real reasons that kids misbehave. All right. So if misbehavior is your communication, then exactly what are kids trying to tell us? I've been working with families and kids for almost 30 years, and I've found that it comes down to 5 things. 5 real reasons why kids misbehave or have off-track behaviors. And none of them are that your child is bad. The number 1, unmet needs. Number 2, disconnection. Number 3, big, huge emotions and the developing brain. And number 4, lack of autonomy. And finally, what's developmentally normal for children. So reason number 1 is the most overlooked, and honestly, it's the simplest to fix. It's the unmet needs. Is your child hungry? Are they tired? Are they overstimulated? If they are, they can't regulate their behavior. This isn't that something's wrong with them. It's just biology. Their brain literally does not have the resources to cooperate when their body is depleted. So what does that look like in real life? It's the tantrum in the grocery store at 5 p.m. How many have had that? It's the whining and the clinginess right before dinner. How many people have had that? It's the meltdown at the birthday party because there's way too much going on, too many kids, too much sugar, too much everything. How many have had that? It's the defiance at bedtime when they're so overtired and they can't even function. How many people have had that? Those are nearly unavoidable. But what breaks my heart sometimes is that we punish kids when they have these behaviors when it's totally out of their control and they're running on empty. So what can you do? First, you can pack snacks. I know it sounds stupid, but it makes sense. Make sure your kids have food. And if they don't have food, make sure you have something on you that you can give them at any moment. Before you react to any behavior, run through halt. Are they hungry? Are they hungry? Are they angry? Are they lonely? Are they tired? Are they any of those things? If they are those things, try to remedy as best you can. And third, if you can't remedy those things and the child is hungry and they're tired and they are running on empty, you might have to forego your outing. You might have to say, we're only going to stay for a few minutes of this birthday party. You might have to say, that trip to Target at 6 p.m. after dinner is probably not the best idea. Maybe I should just run in and get what I need and run right back out. Before you leave on any outings, I would do a little checklist. Do you have a snack? Do you have water? Is your child rested? And put that list on your refrigerator and just really look at it before you go on an outing, before you leave to do anything. Are those things as taken care of as they possibly can be? Reason number 2 is disconnection. And this is a big one. So listen carefully. And this is the crux of what we do at Peace and Parenting. A child who feels disconnected from you or from themselves will do whatever it takes to get your attention. They want to feel connected. And there's the thing about attention to a child. Negative attention, as we all know, is better than no attention at all. So if they get your love by being good, if they don't get your love by being good, then they'll get your love by being quote unquote bad or off track. I want to share a statistic with you that changed the way I parent. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Child and Adolescent Psychology found that just 10 minutes, 10, of daily one-on-one play reduces behavior problems by up to 50%. I'm going to say that again. 10 minutes of daily play reduces behaviors, off-track behaviors, by 50%. So what does disconnection look like? It's when your child acts out the second you pick up the telephone. They're not being annoying. They're just saying, I need you. I don't want you giving your attention to someone else. The fix, give them a few minutes of connection, 10 minutes before you have your telephone conversation. It looks like sibling aggression when a new baby comes home. That's not jealousy. That's a child saying, do you still love me? Do you still see me? Do you still need me? The fix, daily one-on-one time, right after school, right before you feed the baby, in those really hard moments. It's also the teen who complains and pushes back. So try to engage and interact with a child who is looking for connection. And with a teen, you can really dive into their world, find out what they're interested in, talk to them about it for 10 minutes, be inside of their own psyche with them, and really get involved for just a little bit of time every single day. So here's what you want to do this week. I want you to set an alarm on your phone, and I want you to call that alarm special time. And I want it to remind you that you need to do or should do or should consider doing 10 minutes of special time with your child. Your child picks the activity. You try to stay away from screens. You don't have an agenda. You're not trying to teach them anything. It's just you and them connecting, doing whatever it is that they want to do. I promise you, you will see a shift in behavior. By day 5, day 6, I bet you will see some increase in cooperation and decrease in off-track behaviors. By the way, this is one of the very first things we teach inside of the Peace and Parenting community. That's our online parenting community. It's simple, this technique, it's powerful, and we talk about it almost every day in our weekly calls.
Hey, Michelle, let's try going live on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
You just have to click on go live.
Okay. All right. It's done. Okay. All right. Reason number 3, and this one is going to blow some minds. Big emotions and the developing brain. Here's a fact that every parent needs to know. Listen carefully. The prefrontal cortex, the reasoning center of your brain, that's where we have our logic and our impulse controls, our decision-making center, our emotional regulation is not fully developed until age, they say 25. Some people are even saying 28. 25. That's not 5. That's not 12. That's 25. My daughter's 20, and I can tell you she's getting closer, but you can still tell she needs development in her reasoning skills. In the Peace and Parenting community, we use this model, the brain science, and a lot of support materials around it as the backbone to parenting with connection. And why? Because it's successful. When we consider the brain and how it works and how connection works, we can really change our behaviors so that we can change theirs. So when we look at the 4-year-old who's having a meltdown in the middle of the store and we say, control yourself, we're asking them to use a part of the brain that literally, A, probably doesn't exist, and B, is definitely not online in that moment. They cannot comply. And here's what happens instead. When a child is overwhelmed by a big emotion, anger, frustration, disappointment, fear, the limbic system, the middle part of the brain, all the emotional core takes over. And when the limbic system is activated, the thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes offline. They literally cannot hear you. They can't reason. They can't problem solve. They are in survival mode. So what do? We've got 3 steps. We can co-regulate first. I don't know if you know what that means, but it really means calming your nervous system. And your nervous system and your calm helps inform their calm. So they can't de-escalate unless you're de-escalated. And if you're calm and connected, then eventually that will bring them down. So get on their level, breathe deeply, drop your shoulders, lower your voice, and come to them with as much calm as you can. The next step is validating feelings. Everybody wants their feelings validated. It doesn't mean you have to say the behavior is right, but you can tell them that the feeling is okay. I see you're really frustrated. We got to leave the park. You're so disappointed. We can't get that toy. Oh, I'm not letting you go to the party tonight. I understand it's hard. You can also merely say, do you need a hug? I'm right here. You're just letting them know that they're heard and they're understood. Third step is setting limits. And we talk a lot about setting limits in the peace and parenting community. So setting limits looks like the rule in the house is no hitting. I can see you're really angry and I'm right here. Notice what's happening. You're holding the boundary and you're also holding your child at the same time. You're saying, this is the boundary, and I also see your feelings around it and I recognize those. Instead of what our parents would say would be like, no more TV or else. And then the kid is left in their feelings and they have to comply, and now they feel completely controlled. Instead, we use limits with empathy. This week, I want you to practice one phrase, or maybe a couple of phrases. I see you're upset, or I understand. If you can just say those when your child is off track or having a hard moment or misbehaving every single time, if you say it every single time, it will change the way you come to your children. It will change the way they respond to you. And it might feel weird, but I would do it anyway. So you can try, I can see you're really whatever, or I understand I'm right here.
Hey, Michelle, have you gone live on Instagram? Remember, you have to do it over here and on Instagram, the page that we left open.
I did.
On both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the fourth reason is lack of autonomy. And this honestly is one of those hidden things that people really don't talk about. And it is the major part of struggles we have with our kids. If you think about it, your kids are being asked to do things all day long. From the moment they wake up, we're telling them, get dressed, eat breakfast, put your shoes on, do this, do that, get in the car, sit down. Then they go to school, get your homework out, put your backpack up. You know, it's constant. Can you imagine how that feels? All day, every day. Imagine if your boss did that to you every single day, yet you were controlled. Do this, do that. How long would it take you before you were like, no, I don't want to do that. I need some control in my life. So let me show you the difference between control-based parenting and connection-based parenting. If you take a look at the slide, control-based parenting sounds like, put your shoes on now because I said so. You have no choice. Do it or you're going to lose your iPad. Connection-based parenting sounds like, time to get your shoes on. Do you need help? We have to leave now, and I understand it's hard, but do you want to hop like a bunny? It's teeth time. Do you have sugar bugs in those teeth? Let me see. I know it's hard to stop playing your video games, and I understand, but we're going to have to. And then you listen to the feelings that ensue. And that is the big difference between control parenting and parenting with connection. We set the limit, but we listen to the upset around that limit. We don't just enforce a punishment instead. This week, find a way to get things done being playful. Getting dressed, leaving the park, mealtime, bedtime, turning off the electronics. Can you hop like a bunny? Can you walk like a gorilla? What can you do to incorporate play in your requests of your child? I assure you, you will get much better response than commanding or demanding. Try that this week. Play is one of the tools that we use deeply inside of the peace and parenting community. We talk about it all the time. It is one of my go-to best ideas, my most favorite ideas. It's what I even use with my teenagers. Okay, let's talk about what is developmentally realistic for children, because children have, developmental stages, and those developmental stages aren't always obvious to us. We often call it misbehavior, but it's actually 100% developmentally normal oftentimes what our kids are doing. So when your 2-year-old says no to everything. It's not defiance. It's not that they're trying to be unkind. It's a child developing a sense of self. That's literally their job right now. The appropriate response is not to punish. The no, it's the acknowledge it. Oh, you don't want to go. I hear you. Listen to those feelings, validate those feelings, and then proceed. It's your 4 to 6-year-old who lies, tests limits, argues about everything. They're learning social rules. They're developing their imagination. And the lying is actually a cognitive milestone. It means their brain's growing. Don't shame them. Focus on problem solving together. It's your 7 to 9-year-old who talks back, pushes every boundary. They're developing critical thinking skills. They're trying to figure it out for themselves. What's the world made of? Where do I belong here? Listen to the no behind the disrespect. There's almost always a valid feeling underneath it. And your 10 or 12-year-old who withdraws. They roll their eyes. They act like you're the most embarrassing person on the planet. They don't want to be around you. They don't mean it. That's them trying to identify who they are. They're trying to figure out what the world looks like away from you and how to function in that world. Now we have to respect some of their privacy, but we are not controlling and we do not withdraw. We stay present. What about your 13 through 17-year-olds? They deeply want their independence. And they have to keep that independence in order to grow their maturity. Their moods might be wonky. They might be really super sweet one moment and then totally unkind the next moment. When they're sassy and they're mean and they're unkind, they don't mean it. They really don't. They're going through so much developmentally. They're trying to be this big adult person in a little tiny body. Be their safe place because they need one. They don't have safe places. What about your 18 to 20-year-olds? These are still kids. I know it doesn't feel like they're kids, but they're still kids and they still need their parents. I have a 20-year-old and she needs me desperately. I'll tell you that. They're questioning everything though. They're trying to figure out what the world means, how to be an adult, how to take on all the responsibility of the adult, but they don't really want it. It's the push and pull of that. Can you make me dinner? Can you do my laundry for me? They want those things done for them. And at the same time, when they leave and are away from the house, they have to do those things themselves. And it's not easy for them to learn all these new skills. You now become their confidant. You become their consigliere. You become their support and more their friend. And then you start really developing that foundation of trust where you're not telling them what to do. You're not giving them your opinion, but you're being their support person when they need it. When we understand what's normal, then we can stop thinking something's wrong with our kids. Believe me, there's nothing wrong with your child. If you go home tonight, please Google what is normal behavior for a 8-year-old. And I'd like you to read all of those normal behaviors. And believe me, I think you'll see a lot of behaviors that you might think aren't normal, or you think they're acting out, or you think they're misbehavior. Okay. Every time I click back to my thing, my notes get messed up. It's so annoying. And finally, sorry, we're going to get to the peace and parenting framework. So now you know the 5 reasons. The question is, when your child's melting down, what do you actually do? What's the step-by-step? There's a little framework that I like called PEACE, P-E-A-C-E. Number 1 is P is pause. We talked about it at the very beginning. Pause and take a breath. It's like co-regulating. Remind yourself this is not an emergency. My child's not the enemy. They're not after me. E, empathize. Name what your child's feeling. Oh, you're really upset. Oh, you seem super frustrated. Oh, I wish we could stay longer. You don't have to agree that the behavior is right. You just have to empathize with the feelings. You have to validate the way they're feeling about the situation. A is acknowledgement, and that's different than empathizing. It's acknowledging, meaning you're letting them know that their experience makes sense. Sure, you should be upset. I understand. I would be upset too if I had to turn my electronics off and I was in the middle of this amazing game. It doesn't mean we're fixing it. It means we see them as people with real life quandaries. See, connect, get on their level, kneel down, get on the floor, and be present, be soft, be open. Connection is the bridge between the big emotion and the cooperation you're looking for. And E is enforce with empathy. Here's where the boundary comes in. And this is critical because connected parenting is not permissive parenting. It's not even gentle parenting. We absolutely hold limits. We just hold them without shame, without punishments, without lecture. We hold them without losing the relationship we share with our children. We hold them without damaging that connection that you're working so hard to build. We have to turn off the TV. I know that show is great, but we're done for the night. We listen to the feelings, but we also hold the limit. We hold our child, but we also hold the boundary. And this is the framework right here. If we practice week after week, we get better at these ideas. And that's exactly what we do in the peace and parenting community and our one-on-one coaching. Because knowing it and living it and understanding it deeply and struggling with it on the daily are very different things. And we need support and practice in order to make those things automatic. I want to share a story with you because I know some of you are thinking, yeah, this sounds really great, Michelle. Sure, cool. How do I do it? So let me tell you about a client of ours, Cher. She came through the Peace and Parenting community and she was a yeller like me. She'll tell you that herself. She was in that cycle. She would yell and then feel guilty and then promise to do it better again and then yell again. Sound familiar? That's what I did. I don't know if you did too. So she started using connected parenting and daily special time. And within 2 weeks, she stopped yelling. Her 6-year-old's tantrums went from every single day to once a week. And here's what she said. We have had some big wins over here with this method. We have a long way to go, but it's exciting to see progress in myself and my kids using your strategies, Michelle. I love what she says here, progress in myself and in my kids. And that's the thing. When you work on making changes in your parenting, you see it manifest with your children. It changes the way you look at your kids. It changes the way you look at yourself and the way your whole family feels. Now, I also want to share a cautionary tale. I worked with a mom who tried everything she found. Sticker charts, I used sticker charts. Timeouts, I used timeouts. Taking toys away, oh, I took toys away. Taking screen time away, I did that too. I took dessert, I took everything I could, and so did she. And her 5-year-old's behavior didn't get any better. It got worse. The aggression escalated, the meltdowns got bigger because every punishment was confirming that the child already believed, I'm bad and nobody understands me. When she switched to limits with empathy and connection through our Peace and Parenting community, the aggression stopped within 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Not because we found a magic trick, but because the child ended up feeling safe. So they didn't have to use the misbehavior to get the negative attention that they were looking for. Okay. I want to give you 2 more data points to take with you because I know some of you are the type who want to see the evidence. And I love that because I want to see the evidence too. 80% of parents who switch from punitive, so punishment-based, threats and bribes, to connective approaches report fewer daily conflicts within 30 days. That's from the Positive Discipline Association. 30 days. That's not a year-long program. That's 1 month of shifting how you respond. And here's one that really puts things in perspective. 65%. 65% of children's behavior problems stem from environmental factors. Tiredness, hunger, routine disruption, not defiance, not misbehavior. 65%. So most of the time, it's not your kid, it's the circumstance. And if you want to go deeper, I have some resources for you. First, my book, Unpunished. It's everything I've taught tonight or today, plus the full roadmap of letting go of punishments and building connection-based home. It's also my story. It's my memoir of the struggles that I went through. Second is the Peace and Parenting podcast. And I don't know if you've checked it out, but it's on all the platforms and there's 500 episodes. I discuss real stories. I use real tools. I have conversations with parents just like you and experts. It's available anywhere. And third, and this is the big one, is the Peace and Parenting Community weekly live support calls with myself and my coaches. This is where parents come to practice, we get feedback, and to feel supported. Because reading a book is great, but doing the work in a community with other people, that's where the transformation happens. All right, I've been talking a lot and I really want to hear from you. So here's the question. What frustrates you most about your child, and how have you, what is the one behavior from your child that frustrates you the most? And now that you've heard about connection, what do you think you could do? And what do you think those feelings are deeply below that behavior? Let's put does anybody want to share out, or do they want to put it in the chat? I cannot see the chat. Where is the chat? I'm going to stop sharing my screen right for a second. Let's get talking here. So what is any of these behaviors that you notice from your child? What do you think's below those behaviors? Anybody want to share or write it in the chat? What do you think the feeling is below that behavior?
I can share.
Yeah. Hi, Kay.
Hi. Sorry, my light's really bright.
You're fine.
So I think it's like we've kind of dealt with a lot. My child is also like high functioning on the spectrum. So, we go into like the PDA stuff. So it's really tough with using specific communication and everything. So I find like when things get really hard, there's more disconnection because I feel even more like I don't even want to play,
Yeah.
not to get all emotional here, but I'm just,
It's hard.
that is really hard. And then it's like they're looking for you for guidance. They're looking to you to model the correct behavior and the correct way to deal with the stress. And then you're supposed to stay calm. And it's like calm parenting and you want to explode inside. And then you're also supposed to play. And sometimes it feels like it's like a cycle of abuse. I have to plan a date with, play date with
with your
this person
who's
that's
screaming at
hitting
you?
me, calling me names, throwing things at me, breaking stuff. And
Right.
it's just like, so that's really tough. And then sometimes like, because of my lack of um, experience as a child, like my parents were very uninvolved, sorry. So, and I never had play. So I kind of feel like a deer caught in headlights at
Yes.
that
How
point.
many people
I
feel
don't
play is
know
so hard because they're
what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
I just freeze. I
yeah.
freeze. So that's the hardest part,
Yeah.
not like I'm like, my brain stops thinking and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to connect or
Yeah.
play or reprimand or like, oh my gosh, stop doing that. That's dangerous. Like,
Okay,
that's
what if I gave you a homework assignment? What
sure.
if you just did it this one time? All you have to do is respond to your sassy little kid one time
Yeah,
with
she's
play, because I think what
great.
happens is we get a neural pathway that starts to build here, right? And if you do it
Yeah.
once, you start to build that neural pathway. It'll help you do it the next time, and pretty soon it will feel normal to play.
Yes. Uh, okay.
Yeah, try it. Thank you for sharing. I
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so
I
much.
hope some people can relate.
Oh, I bet how many
It's
people
not
can,
just
how many
me.
people can relate? Yeah.
We can relate, Kate, for sure.
Yeah, we can all relate.
Okay.
What about other people,
Thanks.
other behaviors that are hard? And what do you think that unmet need is below the surface for your child? What is bubbling?
Kaylee and Amy shared here in the chats if you
Oh,
want.
oh yeah, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, here we go, here we go.
Yeah, so Jessie shared here in the chats that her 2-year-old daughter will play friendly and then will start hitting despite her trying to tell her not to hit her. So she assumed it's a phase for her, but it's not sure how to teach her that it's not okay for her to do that.
Yeah, play. Jessie, I'm gonna tell you play because she's 2 and it's you know, aggression is a fear response, right? And your child has an unmet need of something in there, disconnection, who knows what it is. The great thing with these unmet needs is that we can remedy them with connection no matter what. Connection will work to get a child back online because it gets their prefrontal back online. So you might say to your hitting girl, oh, let me see those hitty hands. I'm going to kiss them all over, right in the midst of her hitting. So now you've broken the negativity, right? You've broken the don't do that, you can't, we don't hit, hands are for hitting. You've broken it up by taking her little hands and kissing them. And now you've told her, I'm not going to let you hit me with those hands. I've got them right here, but I'm going to kiss them. I'm going to give you connection in that moment. And if you do it enough, Jessie, she'll get there. I promise you, she'll get there. Thank you, Maria, for that. Amy, my child is completely obsessed with video games. How many people have kids obsessed with video games? And I have tried special time before after book ending, and he just will not listen to the limit and get off when I ask him to. Will he not get off or will he just carry on? Are you, Amy, are you able to talk? Do you want to come on camera or just voice at all? No? Okay, that's okay. I'd say like, is he not getting off or is he just complaining? If he's just complaining and carrying on and throwing a fit and going on and on about it, that's okay. I would just sit with him in those feelings and I would keep your hand on that electronic or whatever it is and make sure he's not using it. As long as he's complaining and you're empathizing, you're getting to the feelings and hopefully you're getting to connection, but he might carry on for quite some time and it might feel like he's not listening. But is he just protesting? There's a big difference there. All right, let me see here.
She typed in later that he will not get off.
He will not get off. Then you're probably going to have to turn it off. You're probably going to have to turn it off. You're going to have to say, okay, time is up. Would you like to turn it off? Or would you like me to turn it off? Because at some point, I don't know how old this child is though, actually, we didn't get to that. But that would be an important distinction too. Okay. Let me see. Kaylee, my 3-year-old will not go to sleep on no matter what we do as far as routine. We can get him to bed and then it's another book, a water, a snack, another snack. And we just, you're so tired. How many people have had that? My youngest was like that. She drove me. He's 8. I've done that and he loses it even more. That's okay, Amy. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to Amy for a minute. Amy, that's okay. He can lose it even more. Let him lose it. Let him lose it as much as he wants. Losing it and having tantrums is not a bad thing. Losing it and having tantrums is a good thing. Let him lose it. Let him lose it for an hour, but don't go back on that limit. Set the limit, turn the electronics off, and let him have the feelings. He needs to have the feelings. Feelings are important. Wait, where was I? Oh, the sleep, right. So Kaylee, I would also, it's going to be the same as what we just talked about with Amy, setting that limit, really setting the limit and allowing the feeling. So we're saying no more book. We had 1 book. We're not having a second book. We're not going to have one. And he's probably going to have a huge tantrum and upset. I would start bedtime really early. I would plan to have an hour tantrum. And when he's done with that tantrum, you say, okay, are you ready for bed? Hopefully, if he gets all those feelings out, he's going to able to come to bed better. And it might take you several days of doing that, setting the limit and listening to the feelings before he gets there, but I bet he will. And he loses even more. Okay, thank you. I know, thank you, Amy. It's all good. Okay, These were great. Let me share my screen again really quickly because I don't know what the heck else I have in here, but I think I have a couple more things. Yes. Okay, quick poll. When your child acts out, is your go-to A, to yell, B, to give a consequence, C, to walk away, or D, to connect? A, yell, B, consequence, C, walk away, or D, to connect? Which one of those? You can put it in the chat, or you can just speak if you want. If anyone wants to talk, I'd love to talk, obviously. What's your go-to? Anybody? When your child misbehaves, try to connect first, then consequences. Okay. What are other people? Should be connection. Yes, should be connection. But we don't have to admit that it's connection if it's our go-to. My go-to is to yell. Like it's not my go-to anymore, but that was my go-to for years and years and years, was to yell. A. Rachel, what was A?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Mine's L. That's my instinct, is to yell. Yeah. So in Peace and Parenting in our community, we try to move from that idea, like that your go-to is to yell, and we want to move people to your go-to being connection. And we only do that through practice. And I think we talked about in the beginning, you've got to keep making those neural pathways and talking about it and working on it. It doesn't happen overnight. We might know what to do, but we can't do it without the support. Connection doesn't always seem to work. So then I just sit next to her during the tantrum. I sit in silence. There's nothing wrong with that. That actually is empathy in a moment where she's having a hard time, Jessie, is connection. Connection. And when we say work, what do we mean by that? Do we mean that we want it to go away? Because that's not really working. Connection allows children to have feelings. It doesn't shut them down. So it might look big and boisterous and all these feelings, but that doesn't mean connection isn't working. I try to correct, distract. It doesn't seem to work though. Yeah, correcting and distracting. I think connection is your best bet in any of these moments. Tim, Tim is one of our coaches. Tim, hi. What do you have to say?
My go-to would have been logic, trying to explain.
Reasoning.
Hopefully they would understand.
Right. If you just understand it my way, I'll just explain it and then you can stop crying.
And then 50-50 that and yelling.
Oh, okay, great. At least you would get a equal opportunity to both.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to my slides now.
And of course, I mean, punishments came along with that too, right?
Oh yeah, punishments threats and bribes were always in there for me. That's
absolutely.
Sure. Okay. So 3 things you can do this week. So you can take the pause. So before reacting, you're going to take a deep breath and ask, what's my child feeling? Do this for 7 days, just 7 days, and see how that works. And then do daily special time. Set an alarm. The child picks the activities. No phones. Track how the behavior shifts after 5 days. And then the last one is 10 minutes of special time. Oh, sorry. Thought we already did that. Sorry. And then when things are difficult, tasks are difficult, you have the big ask, like the brush the teeth, the go to bed. Can you use play? Can you use play to motivate connection, to create connection in all these little hard moments? Because we want to bark orders at our kids. Go get dressed, go to bed, do this, do that. Can you do it playfully? Can you insert play in hard moments? Can you respond to hard moments with play? These are 3 things that you can do today, and they work, I promise. Okay, I want to leave you with this. Your child is not giving you a hard time. I know you've heard this. They're having a hard time, but it really, truly is true. You being here today and listening and questioning and being willing to look at things differently, that matters more than you know. Your child doesn't need to have the perfect parent. There's no way they ever will. They need somebody that's present, and they need somebody that's supported. And you don't have to do this alone. If something today resonated with you, if you felt like a small shift, I'd love to invite you into the peace and parenting community. That's where the real transformation happens. Not just learning tools, but implementing them with support on a weekly basis in real time. Inside the community, we have calls, you have access to coaches, and you have a space full of lovely parents who are walking the same path. And if you're feeling like you need more personalized support, we also have 90 days of one-on-one coaching with a supported coach who can understand your unique dynamic. If you are interested in and would like to do more work in this arena, please comment the word support in the chat and I'll personally reach out to you so we can set up a call to discuss. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time in this world. Thank you for thinking about your children in a deep way, because you guys are raising the next generation and we need you right now to have kind and compassionate and lovely children. And I know this is the way to get there. If you have any other questions, I will stay for another 8 minutes and we can discuss anything that you'd like to. If you're interested in joining our community, please write support in there and we will reach out to you and make sure that we get you the support that you need. All right, anything else anybody has to ask or any thoughts? Let me look in my chat here. I'm not good about my chat.
Camera had a very poignant
Yeah.
question for you, Michelle.
How are we helping our kids when the parents have very different ideas of parenting? My 9-year-old son has ADHD. I try to use more of the positive parenting approach and use many of the techniques. And you mentioned, however, dad is giving more orders and expecting compliance. How many people have the parent on the other side doing the other thing, even not divorced? Could be together parents and not doing it. Does anybody struggle with that? We see it a lot in our community, a lot. I'll say this. You can't control your partner or your ex-partner. You just can't. And you can only lead by example. And your child will figure out where the safe place is because they will experience that safe place with you. So you don't have to worry about what your partner is doing or your ex-partner is doing because there's nothing you can do about it. You have to parent on your own trajectory and know that your child needs one well-adjusted person in their life, one leader to do well. They don't necessarily need 2 people. They need one, and you can be that person for them. Okay. Sweta. Hi.
So one, I wanted to share that I've been attending the calls and it's been absolutely amazing. It's changed everything for me because I have been following you for quite a bit, but the calls made all the difference. And especially even the coaches. So I get to hang out with Cami and Tim, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I also had a question, if there's time.
Yes, I'm so glad. We're so glad you're here. You can ask anything you want.
So my 5-year-old, I think he's going through something. He's turning 6 in April, and he's having school refusal. So he says, "I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school." So I listen with empathy. So I say, "Yeah, I know, I know. I get it. So, Cammy's taught me something about this feels difficult." So I say, "Okay, But he wants me to give him an answer. Like he says, "Why are you saying it's hard? You always say it's okay, but give me an answer. Why do I have to go? Why do you force me?" Or like he wants me to engage with him and give him the answer that he wants to listen to. And he gets madder and madder the more I try to empathize.
Yeah.
So any tips?
Yeah. First of all, you're doing great. And you're doing exactly what you need to do. And the fact that he's getting mad and asking for answers isn't necessarily bad. So he wants to be mad. He wants to get mad so he can have his feelings, and he's using everything he can to get mad to have his feelings. And so he's making you the reason why he's getting mad. Why don't you tell me the answers? You're not telling me what I need. My daughter would do that. She would say, aren't you going to fix it, Mom? Aren't you going to do something about it? And I'd say, no, I can't do anything about it. This is it, honey. We got to get through these feelings. And I think that's it. It's like, no, I'm not going to do anything to fix it, to make it better. I have no better answer than this. I'm right here
Okay.
and I understand. And maybe you could be more quiet than you are talking, right? Maybe just like 80% should be being quiet, 20% should be talking. And so if you're
Okay.
just listening to him, but he might still say it, aren't you going to say something? Aren't you going to do something? Who knows what he'll do? But I would be a little bit quiet every once in a
Yeah.
while, say, I understand this is hard, and let him get as mad as he needs to get so he can get it all out.
So sometimes he'll say, you're so dumb. You know that, right? You're so dumb. So I say, yeah, yes. Because he doesn't want me to say anything else other than agree with whatever he's
It won't
saying.
matter what you say, Sweta, he's going to be mad. You can say,
Okay.
yes, I'm dumb, or no, I'm not dumb, or the man in the moon isn't real, or the man in the moon is real. Like, it wouldn't matter what you say, he's going to be mad. He just
Thank
wants to
you.
be mad.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Tim?
Yes, I was going to comment that I put in the chat a link to the episodes.fm where you can search Michelle's podcast for any topic. Click on the episodes link there, and then the magnifying glass, you can type in play, type in special time, type in ADHD. There's hundreds of episodes on your podcast.
500 something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a great tool
if
for
you
anybody.
forget that link here in the chat, it's just episodes.fm, and then search for Michelle's podcast named Peace and Parenting.
Thank
and
you,
you'll find
Tim.
it.
Anybody else? Yeah, Maria Soledad.
Yeah, I have a question. So when you find yourself having those reactive behaviors to your kids, when you don't react the way that you're supposed to, how do you kind of make
Repeat.
pieces with that with yourself and not feel like super guilty for it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, know that all of us make mistakes. All of us do the wrong thing. And guess what? Your kid does the wrong thing too, just to you sometimes. And you forgive them every single time, right? Because there's connection, and they will also forgive you. I think we beat ourselves up so much when we do the wrong thing. And it's not necessary, because you're human and you're going to make mistakes. The biggest thing we can do is repair. We tell our kid, man, I don't like the word I'm sorry very much, but I do like the word, you know what? That was my fault. I shouldn't have done that. I'm really working hard not to do that anymore. I'm sorry is really loaded in our world right now. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. And people say, oh, I'm sorry. And then they just feel like they could be just, they're no longer have responsibility. I like to make amends. Man, I yelled. That wasn't good, was it? I'm really trying to work on that. You didn't deserve that. Really make a solid amends to your child where they feel as if you're taking responsibility. You also don't want to do the like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I can't believe I did that, because now your kid feels responsible for forgiving you, right? So we want a really solid, grounded, you know what? That was my fault. I'm taking full responsibility and I'm working on it. And just really make that amends. And then you got to tell yourself, like, your apology is teaching them to apologize. Your messing up is teaching them not to beat themselves up when they mess up. You've got to forgive yourself so they'll forgive themselves, because you are the model of everything.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. What other things? Anybody have anything else? Oh, I think we're at time right now. Well, it was so lovely getting to know everybody. Thank you, Amy, Jesse, Kaylee, the Maria, Sweta, Tamara, and a couple of people who left. Yes, Tim, what's your last parting words?
We need Tamara's last name if we can, and a quick encouragement. This does work for older kids too. I've got 4 older kids, and it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, me too. Works for my kids too. All right. Maybe Tamara will stay on and speak with you, and we will say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kaylee. I really appreciate it. We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off, yeah?